Man, congratulations again, dude.
Man, yeah, you've seen it. It's crazy. It's
I
like 3 out of 3 beats on spot on
Lo-fi.
lo-fi beats.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I know. I just couldn't believe it, and it didn't happen right away. Like we just released the song, and like after, first week goes by, nothing happens. Second week goes by, nothing happens, and then all of a sudden, like I see a text from Michele like at 2 a.m. and it's like we are in lo-fi beats,
Oh,
and like fuck yeah,
that's so cool.
yeah,
So you released the
Yeah.
song and you pitched it, and it wasn't until 3 weeks later that you got you guys got the email. Wow, so that could happen. So
yeah, yeah. It can happen. Apparently, it's also like we're learning. It's
yeah,
first time for us to.
yeah, for sure. And I think that's one of the good things about having these conversations as well, because like we're all learning with everyone. Like you share stuff with us, and then we can tell you something that you know us, and we can all learn about that.
Yeah,
Wow, man. How do you guys feel? Like what
it's great. We're really happy about it. Uh, yeah, we're just like I wasn't expecting it. It just like it's even better because it was unexpected. Like I
Yeah,
was I was like, okay, this time it didn't happen. Let's focus on the next one, and hopefully we will get picked up again. But
yeah.
then,
And I heard the track just last night, man, and
Mhm.
I was impressed with from the first time with that kind of roll.
Yeah,
I was like, this is something else, you know.
yeah,
Do you want to talk about like the track, and maybe let's talk about how did you guys write it
yeah.
or how it started?
So that one started. So that one is one of the more piano heavy ones.
Yeah,
Um, so the idea for the riff, it just it came to me after, and I think we talked about this the other time. Um, I think I went like during the weekend. I went to the beach or like to take a walk or something, and it was like such a beautiful day. And then it was like at sunset, like on the beach and down in Malibu, you
cool.
get this beautiful view of the hills with the sun. It's like everything is perfect and it's beautiful, and so like just that image in a way inspired me to compose that riff. And so when I came back home, I just sat at the piano and just started noodling around, and uh, that came. And then I was like, okay, yeah, I really like this idea. And then I kept playing with it. And if you listen to the song, is the whole thing is just based on one chord progression, which is like 4 bars,
Mhm.
four maybe 8 bars, and it doesn't really change a lot. It's just like the contour and the arrangement around it changes. So sometimes there's a piano, sometimes it's more like pads
Yep.
and other synths, um, and and then there's like a few like synth voice here and there, but it's pretty much based on the same chord progression. And then I first made a little, like first draft beat, and then sent it to Michele, and it was like, yeah, man, this is super cool, but I hate the drums, and so so it changed the drums and and then yeah, the whole thing sounded much better, much more alive. Because I'm not really. I mean, I can make a drums like a draft, but he is much better than me at making it sound like cool. So yeah, and that's what it is. And then I think the intro that you were talking about, the rolling piano, was just like I consciously made a decision of making an intro. I first made the riff, and then I was like, okay, this needs an intro, and I want to make it like kind of I want the vibe of the beach, and like maybe someone sitting in front of a fire at the beach like at night. And so and if you go and listen, there's like a sound, like a background noise of a fire there.
Like cracking, no?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then like I came up with the idea of the rolling piano. Yeah, and so That's it.
And with the drums, I feel like. Oh, by the way, this is Peyton. I don't know. Like,
Oh.
let me introduce
Hey.
it's Marco,
Yeah.
yeah. Like I think that the drums made it sound like you guys. Because it's like
Mhm.
I think Michele has his own like way of doing the drums,
Yeah.
and the way you guys combine the music, then it's like okay, these guys work together
Yeah.
in the song, no?
Mhm.
Yeah, man, it's amazing because I was reading your Spotify biography, and I think
Mhm.
that like the way you were talking right now, it's exactly what you want to. It's exactly like what your biography says. Like
Yeah.
you're in that place. Like I like the vulnerability part and like the visual, the cinematic. And yeah, the songs feel cinematic as opposed to other songs that not necessarily they're bad or anything like that, but they don't have that uh, or at least the majority of the lofi beats, I don't see that as the visual, the
Yeah.
cinematic component of it. And
Mhm.
you say like you want to accomplish that in your tracks, like
Yeah.
is a important thing for you.
Yeah, definitely. It's like even though I'm a musician, like the visual aspect is very important to me, and I am often inspired by like scenes.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I really like imagining scenes and trying to imagine what music would go with that scene. So
mm,
That's
yeah,
a great idea.
yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, man. It's great because it's. I think that do you also get inspired by paintings?
Yeah, sometimes. In the past, I did more, and then now it's more like, yeah, like you said, cinematic things, and you can see that a lot in my other stuff too, like the solo piano
Yep.
music. That's really a lot inspired by scenery and cinematic ideas and stuff like that.
Mm. I feel like you probably know this composer. His name is Max Richter.
Yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
he's a big inspiration.
Oh yeah, I thought so because I was like, yeah, it sounds like you get like same atmospheric,
Hmm.
like in the same world, in the same
Yeah,
universe, and it's like, no, I really like Max Richter, and Written in the Sky is one of my favorite pieces. But yeah, no man, really
yeah.
really cool, man, really
Thanks, man.
cool, and congratulations,
Thank
seriously,
you very much.
yeah. I was actually we had a question from the I remember that I told you that on Twitter we were going to, ask if someone had questions for you,
Hmm. Hmm.
and I think we got one and we got a couple, and I think
Nice.
Pedro, do you have that one?
I do. Let me pull it up real quick. I just had it too. So it's definitely about you getting onto the lo-fi beats
Hmm.
playlist. So do you feel like getting onto that huge playlist is a one-time opportunity, or has it given you more of a confidence that it's possible to do it again or every single time you release something?
Hmm. Um, Definitely boosted our confidence, but we are, uh, always like keeping our feet on the ground. Like it is a one-time opportunity because in a way, so you release your song and then you get lucky, or that your music is good enough that it gets picked up, and then you kind of have to ride the wave. You have to keep the momentum, and I think keep releasing more music, because that's the more you release, the better chances you have to be picked up. Because if you release just one song and then it gets picked up and then you never release anything else, then yes, it's in that case it's a one-time opportunity. But then if you keep releasing stuff, then you kind of give yourself a chance to have more of those opportunities,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Is there something in the pitch? You know that you have to write like a
Hmm.
like a paragraph.
Hmm.
Is there something that you guys did consciously when you were describing, or in this case, pitching your song, like trying to sell it?
Yeah.
Not in the bad way, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
any advice about it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's I actually do the pitch personally, so I don't remember exactly what I wrote, but I know that I have like 2 or 3 ideas that I put in there. I first start with artistic vision, which is what we were talking about before. So I try to describe what gave me inspiration for the song. So it could be like, again, like a scene, an image, a painting, a picture, whatever it is. So I write that down. Like, this song was inspired by a sunset on the beach, right? And then the next paragraph would be what if we in the case of Sunset, the last release, I said we got picked up before by lo-fi beats, and we reached hundreds of thousands of followers, and we're looking forward to reach more with this release. And then I go on and say stuff like how I intend to promote the song. So if I'm gonna do Submit Hub, if I'm gonna do like paid ads on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, yeah, and then that's it. Also, like you have a 500 character limit, so you can't really say too much. And I feel they don't want to, like you should be practical. So give them some information, like be brief. Tell them what you're gonna do. Tell them if you already got picked up. That might help.
That is definitely good to know.
Yeah.
And then what's your plan to promote it? They even say, like, when you are on the page to do the pitch, they tell you, like, tell us something about the music and how you're going to promote. So you should do that. Yes.
Totally.
So it's like I think we were saying this last time as well. It's like you guys, or once you're on Spotify, you become an independent contractor for Spotify. Like, you're working with them as well, no? Because you're letting them know that you already brought so many people into the playlist of listeners, and then you're letting them know as well, like, and we're gonna promote it.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, man. Seriously, like, no, congratulations, man. 3 in a row.
Yeah,
it's amazing, bro. It's amazing, bro.
Yeah, you're on a. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead. Totally. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say you're on a lot of cool playlists, and I think my favorite one. I don't know if you've seen this on your profile lately, but it's called Pregnancy Music.
Yeah, I've seen that. I think that one is more related to my piano.
Okay,
that
makes more sense, because I was kind of looking through your profile here and just happened to come across the Pregnancy Music playlist.
There's some weird playlists out there.
Yeah. I see you got onto the Mondo Loops playlist, which is awesome. He's one of my favorite artists out there, producers out there.
Yeah.
But no, that's awesome.
Yeah, it really is. We're very happy.
Man, in terms of the ambience that I hear around the music, do you have any plugins or any instruments or like go-to effects that you use?
Yeah, I think we're definitely big on the Valhalla reverb. That's a classic.
Yes. That's awesome.
And then let's see what else. So in terms of piano, I like to use what is it? Spitfire. It's like it's a library that has like soft pianos and like when you have like an upright and you put down the middle pedal, and so like the strings are covered by that felt thing. Felt piano. That's what
Oh, okay. So do you use the free version of Spitfire, or do you?
I think there's some free. Yeah, I use the free ones. There's a couple that you can just download for free.
The Labs one. The Labs one.
It sounds so good and so for the most part realistic, at least for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So I like the more noises and stuff and like realistic details in the piano, the better for me. I really wanted to make it sound real, and I like it when the miking it's really close, so the listener gets this feeling that it's like they're really sitting next to me in a way, that they're listening to the piano like if I'm sitting at the bench and they're next to me, like in a small room, like if we're at home.
Right, you can hear the hammers, you can hear the pedals being.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
So with any of the songs you have on Spotify, do you or rather have you recorded your piano live for
I
any
have.
of the tracks? Okay, cool. Very
Yeah.
cool.
Not the beats.
Mm-hmm.
The
Right,
beats are,
right.
The beats are more like plug-in VSTs based, but the other projects, the solo piano is recorded live on an upright. It's just like a Yamaha basic studio upright with 2 mics, and I did the whole, like, I engineered. It was just me in a studio. Like, I engineered the session. I put the mics there and recorded it, and I didn't mix it and master because I'm not really good at that. But
That's super good because then you have like all the control.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
It allows you to do all the decisions that you want to make it sound like you want.
Yeah, exactly. And I would say something I really learned in the process is, like, don't overthink it. It's just the message is more important than the quality, in a way. I'm not saying that you should, like, release music that it's not, like, high quality, obviously, but don't focus too much on making it sound perfect, because it's not going to sound perfect. But, like, concentrate more on the playing and what your message is, what your point is that you want to get across, and what's the feeling, the energy that you want to transmit to the listener.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's sometimes it can stop you, if you want to do everything perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It can stop you from even finishing.
Yeah.
Don't you think? Like that can definitely happen, and
Yeah.
also with writing more and more, you become better.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I bet that you learned a lot of things by recording stuff yourself, no, Marco?
Yeah, I did. It was great, and I plan to do more. But at the same time, I do have, like, a lot of unfinished beats and songs in my computer. That's still gonna happen.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
totally.
in a way, you just have to learn or come to terms with yourself that you're just gonna release it. You're just gonna go through with it, and the more you do it, the more use you get to, like, oh, okay, this is my song. I released it. It's now out there. It's not on me to judge it anymore.
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. Very fair point. Yeah. Kind of get yourself out of your head almost.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that you said that it's not on you to judge it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's like once it's out, you're not the judge, and
Yeah.
that can propel, because for example, in the lo-fi beats, I mean, not only you thought it was a great song, they also thought it was a great song. So
Mhm.
it's already a response from someone who's objective and also subjective, but I think it's more objective in that process, and then the place that they get on the lo-fi beats, no,
Yeah,
the, then the audience they responded well to it, no.
exactly. Yeah, I think we did uh, something like 20 or 30,000 plays in the first 12 hours that the song was on. So that was
Wow.
Wow.
pretty good. And the song had, so I told you, it was out for 2 weeks, and
Mhm.
it had gotten, like, maybe 10 to 20,000 plays in the 2 weeks, and then in the next 12 hours it had doubled. So
Oh my gosh.
that's the power of,
Woo.
like, the lo-fi beats playlist and editorial playlists in general.
How does that feel, man, when you see that change?
Yeah, it's great. It really feels good, and it makes you want to do more.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you celebrate?
I did not.
Yet.
Not yet. Not yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also hard to celebrate for us because we're, halfway across the globe. So we
Yeah.
can. He's in Rome. I'm in LA. So we can, like, call and be like, "Yeah, we got it," but we're gonna have to wait to pop a champagne bottle.
Nice.
I feel that.
And you, so there's 5 more, right? You said that you were going to release 6. So
Yes, there's 2 more because this is
Okay.
wait. there's two more because this one was number 4.
Oh, okay.
So the first one we released, which I think it's called Stuck on You, didn't get picked up by any Spotify editorial playlist. And then we got the second, third, and fourth got on Spotify on Lo-Fi Beat, and now we're planning on releasing the next one probably at the beginning of May.
May.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we will know in May when you get again to the playlist.
Yes, hopefully.
I'll make sure to give you a big shout out, man.
Yes, thanks.
Bro, I wanted to ask you because I listened to the bass in your
Mhm.
songs. Who
Mhm.
writes the bass?
I write the bass. In that one,
Yeah.
I wrote the bass, and yeah, it's funny that you asked. That's actually one of the few real synths I have.
Oh, okay.
It's a Mini Moog Model D.
Oh, what the
Nice.
heck?
Yeah, it's
Nice.
from the 78. So it's like the real vintage one.
Oh, it's the
Wow.
original.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
Did
even
you-
cooler.
Did you get it in LA?
No, I got it in a small town in the middle of nowhere in Holland.
In Holland or
Perfect.
Poland?
Holland, like the Netherlands.
Yeah, Netherlands.
Yeah.
Wow, man.
Yeah, it's kind of a cool story. I just
Yep.
so I was living there. I did my undergrad in Rotterdam,
Okay.
and so I lived there for 4 years. And a friend of mine, also an Italian guy that lived there for forever. Like he's basically Dutch now. He's been living there for 20 years,
Mm.
and he's also like a huge keyboards nerd, great piano player. And he was at that time he was building his studio, and he had already bought a bunch of vintage keyboards. Like he had a Rhodes, he had a Whirly, he had a B3 organ, he had like a Mini Moog Model D himself. He had like a Juno vintage, like the Roland one. He had he had like 20 crazy keyboards. Like all of them were vintage and beautiful sounding. So I used to go to his place a lot, and we would just like jam.
Mm-hmm.
And then he will always have like keep an eye on the used keyboards like market. And then one day he was like, there's this ad for a Mini Moog, like a real vintage one, and it looks very good. It looks like as good as new. We should go check it out. And I was like, oh man, I don't know, it's expensive. I don't know if I can spend all that money. And I was like, no, let's just go and see it. So we take his car, and then we drive 2 hours across the Netherlands, and we end up in this small town. And there's this house. We go in, and there's like this older guy, like maybe his 60s, very nice guy. And then he brings us to his living room, and there's this Mini Moog Model D that looks like out of the box. Like I'm not kidding you. It's like there's no scratches. It looks like clean. Sounds beautiful. It's like it was amazing. And I played it for a second, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. And he goes like, yeah, I purchased this one in 78. I'm the first owner. I never
Wow.
played it out of my house. And I just like I don't use it. I don't use it much, so I want to sell it. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm taking it.
Yeah, that's a sign right there.
That's a sign. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was meant for you, man.
Yeah. So I got it, and yeah, I've been using it since. It's beautiful. Right now, I'm not able to use it a lot because it's like I don't have a proper studio at the moment. I just moved in with my fiance, and we're in the process of building a little studio in our bedroom. So at the moment, it's like in the case, but I will bust it out soon again.
Nice. And that's the one you use for the sunset?
Yes, it's the one I use
Nice.
for sunset.
Do you want to share the patch?
I can't. Even if I could, I mean, I would if I could. I can't because on the Mini Moog you cannot save.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
just make
Right.
it. You just make it and then move on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean that's the beauty of analog gear like that. It's always going to be just that moment in
Yeah.
just that instance where it's that particular sound. And then once you turn it off, yeah, you're right. You're never going to get the same thing again.
Never.
Yeah.
What I can tell you is that it's like a square. It's a square, and what else? I don't know. It's just a square. I don't remember much more. It was a long time ago. It was like a year ago, or maybe even more. Maybe 1 or 2 years ago. So
Oh, okay. So you wrote this track one.
yeah, again, like I wrote the track maybe 1 or 2 years ago, and then it sat on my computer for a long time, and then we decided like, okay, let's be serious about it and do the mix, master, and like production stuff and everything.
So then how long on average do your tracks kind of stay in your computer?
It depends. So it depends. This one stayed there for a long time, but like for example, the one that we are releasing next in May, which is, by the way, it's called Feel. That one was like, I don't know, it came out. I wrote it, or like I started producing it in October, and I think we were done with the production within like a month, and then we did some mixing and mastering, and then yeah, it's just like now waiting to get released, but like we already have a plan. So
right,
yeah, that one didn't take so long. So it really depends. Also, the one that we released, oh yeah, Move On, which is the one that came out before Sunset, also took like a short time. There was this time where I was in Italy last year at the end of 2021. I got stuck there because of some visa issues. So I was there, and I was at home, and I was a little frustrated that I wasn't in LA and I wasn't playing and I wasn't recording anything. And so like in a couple of weeks, I just sat there at the computer and I was like, okay, I'm gonna make a beat every day.
Nice.
And I'm just gonna just do it and move on. And by the way, Move On is one of those.
Yeah.
And
Cool.
I would just like make a beat based on one idea, put it there, like do a little mix and master, like basic mixing, and then send it to Michele and be like, this is the one I did today. Do your thing, like add some stuff, see if you can do something. And then the next day I would do another one and then send it to him. And sometimes he would be like, nah, I don't feel this one. And other ones he would be like, yeah, man, this is the one. Let's work on this one. And so we picked like 3 or 4. And they made the EP or this series of singles that we're releasing.
Gotcha.
Nice.
Do you ever think you'll go back to the ones that he wasn't feeling and like rearrange it or change it at all, really?
Yeah, I actually have a couple that I really liked.
Yeah.
And he was
You're
like,
like, screw you, man.
yeah.
Yeah.
He was like, no, I don't think these are good, because the ones that I like are a bit more nerdy and like they have piano solos and stuff, and they're more
Totally.
jazzy.
Yeah.
And we were really targeting these lo-fi playlists, and he was like, he was right. This is not good for what we're going for. And I was like, yeah, you're right. So I'm just gonna keep them there and release them later. So I definitely want to release in the near future a few beats that I made that are more like jazzy. Do you guys know like Kiefer?
Kiefer?
I've heard of the name, yeah. I don't know if I've listened to any.
Yeah. He's like this also LA-based pianist and producer, and he makes beats and stuff, and they're more like, that's what inspired me to make those other beats that I will eventually release. And then also like Anomaly. You guys know him?
I don't think I know that one. No.
Yeah,
I'm gonna put it on my list.
Go check out Anomaly and Kiefer, because they are crazy. They are amazing.
So those are like more jazzy or more like complex jazz stuff.
Yeah. There's more involved. There's like piano, so there's solos. It's like more, let's say, complex, rich harmony, chord progressions and stuff like that.
Cool.
Yeah.
And how long have you been I guess I'll call it studying jazz theory and things like that?
Let's see, kind of a long time. I started really being serious about jazz piano, I think in the early 2010, like maybe in 2009,
Hmm.
2010, I started really, studying jazz and like transcribing jazz musicians and stuff like that. And then when I went to Holland for my undergrad, I did an undergrad in jazz piano,
Hmm.
and that was in 2013 that I started that.
Cool. Yeah. So for anyone who wanted to get into jazz theory, where's a good place to start? Or, is it like YouTube videos? Is it, yeah, where do you start?
Yeah, YouTube videos are great, and if you want some recommendation, there's this channel that's amazing. It's called Open Studio,
Open Studio.
um, and it's Adam Manis and Peter Martin. They're two jazz pianists, and they're great guys. They're funny. They do this podcast and YouTube channel, and they every week or every so often they talk about a different subject. It could be like voicings, or it could be improvisation, and it could be, I don't know, tunes, transcribing, rhythm, harmony in general. And they do a very good job at breaking down some of these concepts and explaining them. And they even do some like guided practice sessions, so you can like put the YouTube video on, and he's gonna practice with you.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, they're amazing. And then if you like books more, there's this one book which I consider the Bible of jazz theory and piano, and it's the Mark Levine or Levine, I never know. So Levine.
Yeah.
It's a jazz piano book, and then there's also a jazz theory book.
Okay,
And,
cool.
yeah, and they have like everything you want to know in there. Not everything you want to know, but like
Right.
a
Right.
lot of
A good starting point, at least. Yeah. Yeah.
for sure.
I know it's not easy to just like pick up on the spot. If it was, everyone would do it. So
Yeah, but I guess like a big part of jazz is transcribing. So if there's if there's a song that you like, just play it on repeat and like try to figure out, because that's how really the masters and like the people that I look up to learned how to play jazz. Like I guess people like in the 70s and 80s would like play records
Mhm.
and play on those records and try to imitate what the musicians were doing. And that's a big part of the genre, is like the oral transmission of ideas and concepts, and the language. It's a language.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a drummer, and so a lot of my drummer friends like to transcribe,
Mm-hmm.
jazz solos, and I have a deep appreciation for people who can do that, because some of those techniques and some of those rudiments and everything that they do while they're playing, and the fact that they can even transcribe them pretty
Mm-hmm.
well, it's incredible. So yeah, that's still a great idea too.
Yeah.
Do you find that you're able to memorize it, but in a good way, better when you're describing stuff? And I go like this because I'm a guitar player, but when you're playing, do you feel, because when I was gonna ask you the same thing when you talked about transcribing, because
Mhm.
the very few times that I've done it, and
Mhm.
there have been with pop songs or rock songs, it's like now I understand what is happening. Like
Right.
do you have the same experience? Like, do you learn it faster and memorize it faster?
Hmm. Yeah, I think you get a deeper understanding of what's going on, and maybe what's the process that the musician or artist went through to get to the song.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
really, like, in a way, get in his mind. Like, what's this guy thinking about while he's doing this? Why did he, like, how did he get to this point?
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. I feel like sometimes you can hear what is next.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, that's why he went to this chord, because it was obvious that even though I mean, because I'm not like, I don't know a lot of theory, but it made sense to go to this chord or to this
Hmm.
line. I
Yeah.
think, yeah, like you said, you get in the mind of them.
Hmm.
How many hours of transcribing do you have in your arsenal, man?
I don't know. It's hard because it happened over time. It happened like over 10 years or something.
Mm,
But I would say I transcribed at least like 10 or 20 songs or solos.
wow.
And some of them I went deeper. Some of them I just went on a surface level.
Hmm.
Uh, like there's this one that I did a few years ago. It's from this jazz pianist called Gerald Clayton,
Mm,
and it's a solo piano piece where he just plays a jazz standard.
Hmm.
And obviously it's like everything's improvised. He's improvising, um, but I really went in and transcribed everything note per note, uh, and that really, I think, like maybe made me go to the next step, because
wow.
like one of the next, like I'm not saying the next level, like there's a lot of next levels, and I
Mhm.
wasn't one, and like transcribing that piece particularly made me like understand a lot of things that propelled my understanding, my of jazz and like piano playing, and particularly like solo piano playing.
Mm.
um, so there's that, but also some other times I just you know transcribed like a sax solo,
Hmm.
and I particularly liked one piece of the solo and took that and transposed it in all keys and played around with it. So, sometimes you transcribe the whole thing, sometimes you take a little piece and make it yours. And they
Mhm.
are equally valid in a way,
Sure.
you know?
So you can take like an 8 bar section,
Hmm.
and that is like, oh, I didn't never thought about that. It was like, I thought it always like transcribing the whole song. That's a good idea, because if you
Yeah.
want to do that whole thing.
Yeah. And it does different things. It's like, in a way, like going to the gym and train one muscle group
Hmm.
versus going to the gym and do like a full body workout.
Hmm.
So when you transcribe a little piece and really dig into that and uh, play it in all keys and make it part of your vocabulary, that thing it's now yours, and it will come up at some point in your playing. You can use it in a composition. You can use it in your own solo, and it's part of your vocabulary. But if you learn like a whole song, maybe that's more like for a general understanding of how a composition is developed,
Mm.
um, and what are like bigger structures or chord progressions and stuff like that. So it's different things, different bits of knowledge that you can acquire.
And in terms of technique, man,
Hmm.
do you feel like you developed your own technique when you transcribe, or do you get from someone else like inspiration?
Um, I guess technique, you develop in a way just by practicing the fundamentals. Like you're a drummer, so the
Yep.
rudiments.
Oh yeah.
But then when you transcribe, again, you get into another person's mind and hands, and then you learn what they are doing. So maybe they do a different fingering that you didn't think of, or
Hmm.
they do like a grouping, like a rhythm in it with a different grouping. Maybe you thought it
Hmm.
was a paradiddle, but he did it different.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, you don't. I don't. Maybe you don't really learn technique of your instrument by transcribing, but you learn some techniques
Hmm.
that that you didn't think of.
Yeah, and sometimes when I was studying piano for a
Mhm.
period of time, I saw that sometimes I was doing the most difficult movement, you know. And then my teacher was like, but you can also do it this way. I'm like, oh, okay, you know. And then that's perfect, man,
Yeah.
because it's like the work of someone else who took the time to, maybe they also did the one that you were doing,
Mhm.
and then they discovered that you can do it some other way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah, man. I think that learning it's its own thing, you know.
Hmm.
What do you think? What are your thoughts on talent?
Hmm.
Because I've seen that like there's this research that talent doesn't really exist. That it's about like putting the work, and but there's other people, you know, that say talent is plays a major part, and then there's other people who say talent is like 10%, and then 90% is the work. Like,
Hmm.
what do you think about that?
Yeah, I tend to think that it is more like that. Like 90% is the work you put in, and 10% is the talent. But it's, some people, you just have to accept it that they are gonna be. It's gonna be easier for them
Mhm.
to get to a point that for you is gonna be harder,
Yeah.
and it has to do with a lot of different things. Maybe like they're just like, maybe they grew up listening to a certain kind of music,
Yeah.
or they were exposed to some concepts that made it clear for them uh, faster, or maybe they had better teachers, or maybe just their mind works in a way that it's easier for them to practice more, or to practice um, with more focus and like understand or like get to a certain point faster than you. So yeah, it's hard. It's like, I do think talent exists, but I don't think it's like everything. I think that work, it's is more important, can get you farther away, or farther
Yeah.
place.
Yeah, it's the discipline as well, no? Like some people they were they had discipline still in them,
Hmm.
so they are able to spend more time practicing. And then
Hmm.
others, like after 5 minutes, is like, you know
Yeah.
what, I'm done with this. Let's go to the next thing. And I think that's also like you said, like early exposure. I'm pretty sure that we were all exposed to music in a very early age. Like,
Oh
Hmm.
yeah.
yeah, I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know. Like my grandparents' house was full of mambo, cumbia, like all this stuff, and like until today, I still listen to the music.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Hmm.
like, and now I analyze it more, but it's like it's impossible. It was impossible for us to not make music.
Yeah.
You know,
Hmm.
and what kind of music were you listening to when you were growing up, man?
I think my first exposure to music was classical piano, because my cousin, he was studying at the conservatory at the time, and he was like almost finishing. He was like playing crazy stuff, like, everything, like Chopin, Rachmaninoff,
Hmm.
you name it, like
Wow.
Debussy and all of them. And he was great. And we would go have lunch, with my aunt and uncle on Sunday,
Hmm.
and I would be like, play the piano, and he would sit there and play these crazy pieces, and it would be so fascinating for me. Uh, and then yeah, and I was like, I really want to learn myself. And then I asked my mom to if I could take piano lessons, and she was like, "Of course, you can take piano lessons." And so I started taking piano lessons when I was 10, which is already kind of, some people consider that late,
Hmm.
but I think it's good. I
No.
actually think that starting too early is not good. You risk that the kid is gonna lose interest.
Yeah.
Completely agree.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then I started taking piano lessons, and it was mostly classical for the first maybe 6 or 7 years, or maybe even more, because my teacher was very conservative in a way, and I come from
Hmm.
where a small town in Italy, where there's not really a lot of jazz, so it was hard for me to get any early exposure on that, and it was even harder to find a teacher. So I just stuck to classical piano for a long time, and then uh, when I went to like middle school and high school, I started hanging out with my friends, in particular one friend of mine who's a guitar player, and he like introduced me to rock music, prog music, like bunch of stuff. We were obsessed with Deep Purple and Led Zeppelin.
Cool.
Yeah, and that like in time kind of transitioned into progressive metal, heavy metal, and then I discovered fusion. It was my first real exposure to jazz in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And I again was obsessed with David Sanborn, saxophone player, and that was my door into jazz. And then I started discovering like more like traditional jazz artists like Herbie Hancock, Miles Davis. Yeah, so that was it.
Do you think it's a natural progression for musicians that were obsessed with metal when they were, because I was obsessed with AC/DC when I was 15 years old.
Yeah.
And to go into like progressive rock and then going to, well, I don't know, maybe with you was fusion first, but then like going to jazz, do you think it's something that it inevitably happened, or yeah, what do you think?
Maybe, but also at the same time, when I moved to the States, I then realized that actually a lot of people from here, they grew up with jazz and those genres, you know, like they didn't necessarily went from listening to rock to jazz. They just like started, or they got exposed to that music first.
Yeah.
So, and that made me understand a lot of things. Like, it's okay that I'm not as good in jazz as some other people that are literally, they have been listening and playing this music their whole life.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
So, and it just like made me more humble in a way. And I was like, okay, I just have to practice more and study more and try to get to the same level as them. So,
because at the end you can only compare yourself to yourself. You know? I mean, no other one is living your own life.
Yeah.
You know, like we have a saying in Spanish that no one experiments in a foreign head. You know, you can only experiment in your own head.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter, to a point. It doesn't matter what others did, and only can serve you for inspiration. No, like you said, like okay, now there's a goal almost. No, like there's a goal that you didn't know there was, because you didn't have as much experience. Like you saw these people, like they were playing jazz for all their lives, and you go like, oh, now I want that.
Yeah.
So it serves you as a guide, also, almost, no? Like, yeah,
definitely.
Well, I mean, I'm glad that you didn't stop, man.
Yeah, I couldn't stop, even if I wanted. You know, it's just something. It's like it's almost like a call, like some religious people. You know, like you know that you have to go for it. It's like,
yeah,
I wouldn't do anything else in life.
Did you realize that earlier? When did you realize that you like? Because I know that I'm not able to do an office job. I just know it drained my soul and killed my spirit. And I think I realized when I was 28 or something like that, like late. I didn't know why it was, but I was like, maybe it's because I'm a musician, dude. It's like, you know, did you realize that as well?
Yeah, and I think I realized that pretty early, and not even only realized, but also committed to it. Like, I think I really realized and committed to it when I was in high school. And it was like, you know, at the end of high school, you have to kind of decide what you're going to do, if you're going to go to university for, I don't know, whatever it is, like medicine or engineering, or if you want to be a lawyer, if you want to be whatever you want to be. And I knew that I wasn't going to do a university that didn't have music. I wasn't going to do anything that it wasn't going to be music related. And that I wanted to be serious about it and go to the conservatory or go to a university where I would study music.
Yeah.
So that's when it happened for me, when I was like, I think 16, around that age.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really nice. Yeah. When you have that like, I guess that you have that like that call, no?
Hmm.
And then you also had like the freedom to do it. Like sometimes you're not able to do it, no? Like either your parents or like the safest way to go is to do something else.
Yes.
I don't know. But in your case was immediate, no? It's like boom, let's do it.
Yeah. But I'm also like very lucky that I was able to do it because first of all, I had my best friend, who's this guitar player I was talking about before, which we started playing together when we were like 10 or 11.
Mhm.
And he actually realized it before me. And he was like, I want to be a musician. And I think you want to be a musician too. So we should do this together and just like, just do it and commit and let's be serious. Uh, so he pushed me really hard or gave me the inspiration to go through. So that's on one hand. And then on the other hand is my parents who were always very supportive. My dad was like, so no one in my family apart from that cousin I was talking about before is a musician. And even him, he doesn't play anymore.
Mhm.
So I'm really the only musician in my family. And my dad was always like, my dad is a really hard worker. He made his own business. And he was always like, I think you need to get a plan B. Like I think you need to go to school for something else just in case music doesn't work.
Mhm.
I think you need to get like an engineering degree so you can work in my business if anything goes wrong. And I was always like, that I understand your point, but at the same time, I feel if I do something else, that's gonna take too much.
Mm.
Like if I do something else, I'm gonna have less chances at actually succeeding in music because I'm gonna have to use my brain power for this other thing, and I'm not gonna be able to focus myself 100% on the music. And I was lucky enough that he understood,
Mm.
and he let me do it. He never stopped saying you should get an engineering degree,
Of
but
course.
he never forced me to do it. He was like, okay, do whatever you want. And yeah, and my mom too was always supportive and everything. So yeah.
Man, yeah, I super glad that he understood.
Yeah.
Like he always kept it because I think it's like a protective way. Like but then you just let him go and do his stuff, and here you are with three beats in the lo-fi beats. I mean, that's a huge thing, man. Seriously, yeah.
And hopefully it's just a start.
Yeah, no, yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Like I'm excited because it's like when you start seeing that kind of success,
Hmm.
like you said, it propels you to do more,
Hmm. Yes.
and you're more excited about doing more.
Yes.
And
100%.
yeah, it's kind of weird because when you start doing stuff and then, like for example, the first song that didn't
Mhm.
get picked up, you could have just given up. No, you both like, I'll say, you know what, that's it. But then it's it's like a different mindset when you're in that phase when nothing has happened yet.
Mhm.
You're making music and then you're trying to put it in let's say the lo-fi beats now.
Mhm.
Doesn't happen, but then it does happen, then your mind changes
Mhm.
Mhm.
and you're like in work mode. No, now in a good way, no, like because now your chances are increased,
Mhm.
and you know that, and like it's a different mindset. I
Yeah.
like it. I mean, I like the idea of it. It's like super. It gets me excited.
Yeah.
Just thinking about it.
In a way, I miss the time where nothing had happened yet
Okay.
because we had no expectations.
Uh-huh.
Sure.
But now every time we release a song, we're like, oh my god, is it gonna get picked up? Oh my god, is it gonna
Right.
be good? Are we gonna get 10,000 plays? Are we gonna get 100,000? Are we gonna get a million? Like So now it's like you have an idea of what you want to happen,
Mhm.
and if it doesn't happen, then you have to deal with the fact that you're gonna be sad because that's normal. But
Yeah.
again, you just have to let it go, move on, release more stuff because we're here for the long run. We're not here for one song.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
music is our life. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's exactly what I was telling Peyton because I don't know if you know this, but the first call that we ever had was this just Friday. So we just know like, and I found her on TikTok, but like the first call that we ever had and listened to our voices was this
Yeah.
Friday. And I was
Mhm.
telling her like, this is music. This is what we love to talk about, and we are musicians. And I think I'm gonna be doing music all my life,
Yeah.
but this podcast can be like forever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
as
I
long
can.
as long as we have the drive, and
Yeah.
as long as like if you want to come again, Marco, you can. Like it's like it's part of it because I feel like if we were in the same city and we knew each other and we were like having dinner, that's what
Mhm.
we talk about,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, and I think that for me it's amazing that I have this and I'm able to meet you guys and talk about music because in my city there's a lot of musicians but they don't like to talk about music. It's like it's just which is weird. Just weird.
Lame.
Yeah, but you know what? I was thinking about something last night because I was thinking about like I think we talked about this as well, like lo-fi producers being anonymous or not being super in the scene, like as opposed to pop artists and stuff.
Mhm.
And I saw recently that on Spotify you can now make stories like in Instagram.
Oh, okay.
Really?
So
I-
yeah, I'm gonna look into it because I'm not super sure if you can do it now.
Mhm.
But I thought that I would tell you guys, but because that's a great way to engage the followers that you are gaining now. Like for
Yeah.
example, Marco, with in your Patreon as well that you've had into playlist or gotten into playlist. Like you can get listens from your or streams from the lo-fi playlist, but lo-fi beats playlist. But now there's a way to like kind of engage more with those followers or
Mhm.
those people who are streaming your music. And if you can do it within Spotify, like they're already there, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna look into it because I think it would be a great idea.
Yeah, I just found an article about it. Someone the headline is Spotify now has stories and can this please stop?
Oh
Why? I think it's cool. I think yeah, I'm
Yeah.
definitely gonna look into it. I want to make a Spotify story today.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, that's the whole thing. I mean, why people are so against anything that is related to social media? I personally think that it's because it's so new
Mhm.
that we're still figuring it out
Mhm.
and we're afraid of the new
Mhm.
because
Possibly.
like you said right now, I'm gonna make a story right today. Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, like why not?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe some people just like to hate. Some
Yeah.
people just
Yeah.
like negative, and yeah. What can you do?
What can you do? Well, do it. Capital.
Yeah.
Instead of just saying, just like, okay, you're gonna hate, I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna be forward than you. And that's like the healthy competition. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, it's another outlet. If you don't want to do it, goodbye.
Yeah,
You-
get ahead of the game. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. And I think that like for example, I remember that Michele said the last time,
Mhm.
like now we have more listens, but they're probably not like they just know the playlist.
Mhm.
And I thought,
Right.
well, I have to tell them this because you know now they're gonna know you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great because yeah, we were talking about this last time, and Spotify listeners don't really translate to like Instagram or other or TikTok, whatever it is. So it's kind of hard to build a real following. So, for example, if you like, yes, okay, I have 300,000 listeners on Spotify, and let's say 10,000 of them are in LA,
Mm.
and I'm gonna do a concert in LA, and 10,000 people are not gonna show up
Right.
because because they don't really know me. They just heard my song on a playlist. So that's the real goal in a way. It's like trying to translate those followers to really engage them and make them real fans of your music. And I think a very good way of doing it is like showing them more aspects of your artistry, of your what you do in life, what else is there. Because one song is great, but they're not gonna be keep coming. Like you wanted to keep coming, essentially.
Right.
And I think that since it's new, the Spotify on stories, one thing Spotify is gonna push it, but the other thing is that because no one else is doing it, and it's like we could be the first ones, and actually it actually changes or has the potential to change the whole perspective of how the genre is looked at.
Yeah.
And not that I'm saying that it's a set mindset of how people looked at it, but because it's faceless, now people are gonna be able to not only identify your music with a playlist, but also with a face, and like you said, your own artistry, yourself, like showing. I mean, I'm pretty sure that people would be interested to see LA or your rehearsal that you have today or something like that, no? And if you can translate that to Instagram and TikTok, man, like now, even if you don't get to the lo-fi beats playlist, you will get streams, like I mean, hopefully you get, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity, I think. So it's like, anything that you can do to make it, to show yourself and create more fans, I think it's a great opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as musicians, I think we have a lot of material to share.
Yeah, always. Actually, I have, like you said, I have a rehearsal later after this, and if I figure out this Spotify story thing, I might actually make one.
I just updated my phone. Hopefully, it'll come through later. I'll get a notification for it because I want to try it now.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
so cool.
Send it to me, man. Send it to us, and we'll show it up on Twitter and stuff. Like,
we'll do.
Yeah, man, for sure. Yeah. When do you say it was your rehearsal, man?
So I have to be somewhere at 1, and it's LA, so it takes an hour to go anywhere.
Oh, okay. Do you need to leave now?
I need to leave like around 12.
Okay, good. Okay, so
which is like in 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Gotcha.
Okay, so we can end it at 12. No worries, man. Like it's fine with us.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm on Chicago time, so
oh, you are?
I'm like, oh, it's way past noon.
Yeah.
So man, what do you think you're gonna show in the Instagram stories? Your rehearsal? What is it like? It's a own rehearsal?
No, it's like it's a friend of mine who's a saxophone player. He is trying to put together this funk project, funk band.
Cool.
And so we're trying to record some promo material. And I made some arrangements of some songs, and we're gonna try and record them today. Or actually, I don't even know if we're trying to record it today. We're definitely rehearsing, and if the rehearsal goes well, maybe we'll get some initial content, and then we'll go from there. But it's funk, and
Funky?
it's funky. This friend of mine is obsessed with the saxophone player called Candy Dulfer. I don't know if you know her. She's actually also from Holland. She's a great saxophone player. So we're playing 3 songs from her that I arranged, and then we're playing a song from Luis Miguel.
Man, I know Luis Miguel.
Luis Miguel is amazing.
Yeah, it's like it's funny that you said that, man, because he's Mexican.
Yeah.
And I grew up listening to him. My mother would play him all the time.
Mhm.
all the time. So funny
Yeah.
that you said that.
Yeah.
What song are you playing? Suave or?
And we're playing Dímelo en un beso.
Oh man,
Ooh.
that's a really man. I was just thinking about that song last night.
Really?
It's amazing. No, 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 I'm serious. Because I was remembering that I was talking with a friend who also loves funk. He plays the bass,
Mhm.
and I would send him this Luis Miguel songs, and they
Mhm.
all talk about love. So I
Yeah.
was like, maybe this guy's gonna think, but but I was like, just listen to the music, man. Just and one of the songs that I sent him was "Dímelo en un beso" because the bass line, man,
Mhm.
dude.
Yeah, I know. I just transcribed the whole thing, so I know. It's amazing. So tight. Everything sounds so good, and it's like incredibly at the same time simple
Mhm.
but effective and beautiful, and like so well done. And his
Yeah.
voice is incredible. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah,
So
it's super
looking
cool,
forward.
man.
Yeah, man.
I'm a super big fan of him. Like, he's like, well, he's known because of his production quality
Mhm.
and his voice. And
Yeah.
he's almost like a saxophone player with his voice. Like it's cool, man. How did you pick up the song? Did he pick it? Or?
He picked it up because he lived in Peru
Mm,
for a long time, and he's a saxophone player and producer. My friend Jen,
mm,
and uh, yeah, he like produced a lot of music down there in Peru and worked with a bunch of artists. And I think at some point, like he met Luis Miguel. I don't know if he played with him, but maybe just met him. And like he's always been obsessed with him and
mhm.
with like you said, the quality of his productions and arrangements. And so, and he with this funk project, he's trying to target South America too. And
Mm.
so we thought having some Luis Miguel would be a
Yeah.
good option. Some
Is there a singer as well?
there is no singers.
Oh,
It's
okay.
instrumental. So he's gonna play the melody
Mm.
with the
The
sax.
sax.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a really cool song to play a melody with the sax. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
You have
Mhm.
a lot of freedom.
Yeah.
With that song. It's what do you think? It's a simple it's a simple like song or
It's yeah, the chord progression is not too hard, but it's just like there's so much feel.
yeah.
And at the same time, yeah, the chord progression is not too complicated, but the harmony is very rich.
Mm.
So yeah, it's very cool. And then there's a synth solo in the middle section. So
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's yeah, I always figured out what was that instrument, but it's a synth, right?
I think it's a synth. Pretty sure it's a synth.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll make sure that I play that song in the Spotify Music and Talk.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now that
you
we
should.
have that. Yeah, 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 yeah. It's and that did you also listen to the album or just that song?
Just that song because
Uh,
I didn't have much time, and he was like, can you make arrangements for these songs? So I had to like scramble to get your
Yeah.
arrangements together.
yeah.
I didn't have a chance to listen to the whole thing, but I did some other transcriptions of Luis Miguel, also for like arrangement and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And some of those songs are amazing, and some of those are a lot more involved in terms of like harmony and chord progressions and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
It reminds me of like some of the Disney soundtracks.
Yeah. 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 In that sense, they're very because it almost feels like it's like an orchestral fusion.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, it's everyone. The drummer is amazing.
Mhm.
I mean, it's just so many little things, so many details that every artist, every musician in that band adds to the song.
Mhm.
That's I think what makes it amazing. I think the guitar player, Kiko Cibriani, he's the arranger. He's like the musical director, and he's
Mhm.
from my city. So,
Really?
so yeah. So man, it's amazing that you mentioned that.
Yeah.
I'll send it to you, Peyton, because it's yeah. I'm obsessed with this guy as well.
It's great stuff.
That's great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Really
yeah.
good.
Cool.
Nice, man. So it's going to be like you're planning on release it on Spotify and
You mean the funky
Yeah,
stuff?
yeah, yeah.
No, it's gonna be more like a YouTube
Mm.
maybe
Oh,
kind of thing, and it's gonna be we're just gonna use the videos we record to send it to like promoters
Mhm.
or event planners and organizers. Um, try and get gigs more for live
Mm.
gigs.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
Kind of reminds me of there are like two sax players that are playing on everywhere, and they dance like with a beat. And
Mhm.
I think this is this tall guy and the woman they play a lot. Like they also played with Scary Pockets. Do you know? Do you know them?
Oh yeah. I know Scary Pockets. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure about the saxophone player, the tall guy. Uh, but yeah, I know them. I know the Scary Pockets.
Yeah, yeah. They make a lot of covers, and yeah,
Mhm.
like they're really good as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, well, I want to hear that rehearsal, man.
Yeah. Give a little snippet if we sound good.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure, man. I'm sure. I'm sure. Are you playing the solo?
No, I think he's playing the solos probably with the sax.
Okay. Yeah,
Or maybe the guitar player. I don't know. I'm more focused on the comping side in this
Mhm.
because I need to. I'm gonna be playing two keyboards and I'm gonna be using like layered sounds. So I'm probably gonna have like Rhodes and pad in the lower keyboard and like
Yeah.
kind of like strings or bells up in the higher one.
Mm.
So I'm not gonna. I don't think I'm gonna do any solos
Mm.
for this one. I'm gonna let the guitar player and saxophone player do their thing.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it's its own thing as well, comping, no?
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah, yeah. In terms of man, because with keys, I think that sound design
Hmm.
started with keys, no? Almost like maybe.
Yes.
And do you have anything that you go for, or like you think about, like because for example you said about layering sounds? Is there like a thought process that you go through?
Yeah. So actually, I went. I just went to Mexico. Yeah, I told you, right? So
Yeah.
a couple of weeks ago, I went to Mexico and I was playing a wedding gig, and I had like to prepare some patches because in a wedding gig you get to play everything. You get to play like Afro-Cuban music. You get to play um, reggaeton, straight American pop, or South American pop too. Um, whatever boleros, everything. You really play everything, and so you need to have um, a bunch of sounds that you're ready to use. So my thought process is um, I like to have two or three pianos. One is a acoustic piano, one is a Rhodes electric piano sound, and another one is a EP bell. I call it EP bell kind of sound,
Mhm.
which are going to be my basics, and then probably like a Hammond organ.
Mhm.
So this one are my basics, and then on top of that, I like to layer a string patch
Okay.
Mhm.
and add synth pad patch, and then in addition to that, I probably will need like a synth lead sound. So these are my go-to sounds, like four basic keyboards, piano, Rhodes, electric piano, and organ, and then layering strings, pads, and have a lead sound.
Mm.
That would be a basic patch or a basic patch that I would use.
Yeah. Do you like program in a way that at the same time you're playing, let's say the lead, the
Mhm.
synth pad also plays,
Yeah.
so that it
So for that, I would need to do like more work at home. So say if I had to go play a gig and I knew the set list and I knew that every song had a different arrangement, I would program a patch for every song.
Yeah.
So for example, like an example that comes to my mind is like Africa from Toto.
Yep.
Yeah.
So in that song, you have to play a synth pad as your basic sound, like for chords,
Mhm.
and then you're gonna have like a solo, or it's kind of a written solo. So it's not an improvised solo, but you have to play that thing in the middle section, which is like flutes and mallets, like kalimba kind of thing, or marimba.
Mhm.
So in that case, I would probably program my keyboard in a way that like I have the maybe like a Rhodes and the pads in most of the keyboard, like the lower side and the middle side, and then up high I will have like the other sounds. So when it's time for that solo, I don't even have to press any button. It's just like I go
Right.
up the keyboard and play it over there,
Mhm.
and then go back to playing the basic harmony.
That's cool.
So,
Yeah.
but if you don't have time, you just like I didn't have time in that wedding gig. I just had like the patches, and
Mhm.
then on the keyboard I used, which was a Montage 8, like Yamaha Montage.
Oh wow.
You can like, there's faders, so you bring up
Yeah.
the fader of the piano, and then if you need strings, go with the strings, take out the strings, bring in the organ, take out the organ. Just
So more
Great.
like a mixer DJing thing.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they send you a list of songs that you wanted to play, that they wanted to play?
Man, yeah, they did, and it was like 150 songs.
What?
Wow.
Like you had to play the full song?
Well, no, yes, but like obviously I knew that we were not going to play 150 songs, because like
Yeah.
150
Right.
songs is like a full day, like 24 hours of music. No.
Yeah.
But they like the bride and groom just couldn't decide, and so the band leader just sent out all the songs, and we're like, be prepared to play any of these. And I was like, okay, great. But then like a few days before, they were like narrowing it down, and they sent charts, which is also like
Very helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so we had charts of some of them, most of them, but some others were just like, and also like the set list kept changing, and even during the concert, like literally during the playing, they were like,
Mhm.
we're supposed to play a song, and then they go and tell you like, oh no, we're going to do this other one. So you have to scroll in your iPad and find the chart.
Was it a band that you played with them before?
It was first time, and actually I was
Oh, wow.
subbing for another pianist.
Oh, okay.
And so I just like, went down there, played with them once.
I mean, like in that case, I mean, you know so much that you can do it easily and play with others, and they also were good, no?
Yeah, and you just have to, it's a wedding. It's not a real like concert that people are there to listen to you.
Yeah.
They're there to have a good time, and you're just playing the songs. So it's not, you don't have to make it sound like exactly like the recording.
Yeah. Yeah. They know it's not the recording, so it's live, and they can just, and they're drunk as well.
Yeah.
When it's just happy for the bride and groom.
Exactly.
Yeah, man, that's good that you got to go to Cabo and have a good time, man.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
That's amazing, dude.
Cabo was great.
Cabo was great, man. It's almost 12. I don't want to take more of your time. You have to leave or something.
Yeah, gotta go.
But thank you very much, man.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Of course, it was my pleasure. It's always great to talk about music and stuff with people that are passionate like me. So
no, same thing, man. Whenever you want to be part of it again, man, you're always welcome, as well as Michele, man. We can talk about music.
Yeah, I'm sorry he couldn't make it. He was teaching. I even texted him like 10 minutes before, and I was like, "Are you sure you can't make it?" I was like, "Yeah, man, I'm teaching right now, so I can't make it."
It's all right, man.
Next time.
Yeah, hopefully we'll do it again with him, and maybe he'll be able to talk to you guys about like his process and stuff.
Yeah, in May, when you get your next song to spot it to lofi.
Yeah, why not?
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
All right, man. Thank you very much, Marco.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.